So we have been studying different text structures. I want to do the world's fastest review of those because today we're going to do an activity that reviews all of them to get us ready for our test, which is coming tomorrow. So listen carefully. This last week and a half or so, we have been talking about text structure, and we've looked at 6 different common structures that you'll see. Let's talk about what those are. So first I want to talk about cause and effect. Cause and effect is when you have one action that causes another action, or one action that causes another result. Um, if you didn't learn this material, you're not going to do well. The cause is you didn't learn it. The effect is you got a bad grade. That's not going to happen here. So our cause will be you really studied and you understood what cause and effect was, and our effect will be you're going to make an A on the test. Cause and effect will be something that does not tell a story. It doesn't have a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's going to talk all about actions and reactions. Then we went to compare and contrast, and we talked about how two things could be similar or the same, and how they could also be different. We looked at apples and oranges and found a couple of things that they had in common. And then we looked at the same apples and oranges and found a couple of things that they had that were different. So compare is how they're similar, contrast is how they're different. Then we went to spatial, not special, spatial writing, which was also, we know it better as descriptive. And I had you think about where things are in relation to other things in a space, and you actually wrote up a description of a particular room in your house. We created that bubble map, if you'll recall. This is not writing where time passes. There's no beginning, middle, and end. It's all about describing someone, something, someplace. I showed you the description. This is not mine, but I showed you the description of my bedroom before you created your descriptive map. Then we talked about chronological, which is the most common in the books that we read because it's chrono for time and logic for order. So it's in the order of time. It's how we tell every story. We start at the beginning, we tell the middle, we go to the end. Every story we tell, including nursery rhymes, is told in chronological order. We don't typically bounce around in time unless you're talking about a book like Holes, which uses a lot of flashbacks. And this was just an example of chronological order, how this person got ready for the day and how they were late and what happened to them. We looked at different clues in chronological order, like years to show the passage of time, or the age of the person in the story to show the passage of time. You can also use words like first, second, third, or even to say first, then, finally. Those are words that show passage of time. Sequence was more of a to-do list. The to-do list I put on the board is sequence writing. Directions, a recipe would be sequence writing. Directions for putting together a bookshelf would be sequence writing. We had these horrible directions for making an omelet, but they were still steps. And we also noticed that the steps were often numbered in sequence writing, and of course the numbers are in order because we're not psychopaths. It wouldn't make sense to put your numbers and put them all out of order. That would mess with my brain. This is not chronological. Chronological tells a story about how something that happened at a certain time. Sequence can happen anytime. I can make an omelet anytime, and when I get to the point where I'm ready to make an omelet, I'm going to follow these directions. We talked about problem and solution, which is also not cause and effect. A problem presents itself as a problem, and sometimes we have multiple solutions. We also needed to remember that just because it's problem solution doesn't mean we agree with the solution, like having to have a license to buy paint, really. But it is a solution. It's just a poor solution. Um, Again, it's not cause and effect. It's specifically talking about something that needs to be solved, something that is causing a problem. Here are some tips to identify those passages. So Ask yourself, what's the author doing in the paragraph, and put it in your own words, and then start to examine those different types of writing that we've looked at. Um, we also looked at the different graphic organizers, like the Venn diagram for compare and contrast, and even a flow chart for those chronological orders, that first, second, third, as the boxes move across. So see if it fits into the correct graphic organizer. And look for signal words like first, second, third, or then and finally, or um, because of this happened, for your cause and effect. Okay? All right, let me show you the assignment that you are going to be working on. Your assignment today is called the Identifying Text Structures Review. I'm giving you, most of your paragraphs today are going to be about cell phones, mobile phones, and I've given you a paragraph to read, and then I've put all 6 of the possible text structure types. It would be really, let me give you a hint. This is how I would do it. I would take a piece of paper, and if you need one, raise your hand. I'll bring you one. If you're not at home, if you're not here and you're at home, go find something. Something like this. And I would write down all 6, because it's going to be the same 6 answers every time. And I would read this and go, well, it's definitely not a sequence. It's definitely not telling me to do things in a certain order, or it's definitely not a description passage. It's not describing anything. And I would mark off the things that it isn't, and then really examine the things that it could be, the things that are left, and talk through them in your head. It will help to have that, I promise. One other thing that you could do if you only have one piece of paper is to write all 6 of them down and tear them up into 6 pieces. Put them all face up in front of you. As you read the paragraph, turn over the things it can't be. So if it can't be descriptive, turn that over so you're not looking at that word anymore. If it can't be cause and effect, turn it over. Then see what's left, and then it'll be easy to, you're basically all you're doing is slashing the trash. When we do a multiple choice test of any kind, you want to throw out the answers that they can't possibly be, so you can just focus on the answers that remain. That's the best tip that I can give you for this. I would take the time right now to pause, make those 6 little scraps of paper, put them all out in front of you and in front of your computer, then read the paragraph, turn them over as you know that's not what they are, and see what's left. I think it'll help. Let me know if you do that, how that worked for you, or if you found a better way. Let me know so I can share that with classes coming up. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there's just 5. I think I counted. There was one about the next couple paragraphs are about shoes. No, there's 6 on phones, and then you have this one on shoes and shoes and shoes. And what do you know? Shoes. So you the last half will be about shoes, the first half will be about phones. I just wanted to kind of keep them and show you can talk about the same topic and have different types of structure. Okay. If you can do this, then tomorrow's test will be simple. If you use that tip that I just gave you and it works for you, you're welcome to do that during the test tomorrow. That's just a test taking strategy. So come to the test with your little pieces of paper already ready, or have a scrap piece of paper so you can make them at the beginning of the test. This is what your test will look like tomorrow. It'll be about different topics, and there'll be different paragraphs, but this is what it will look like. It'll just be different passages, and you tell what type of text structure it is. Okay? If you have any questions today is the day to let me know. Not tomorrow, because I can't help you on a test, but I can help you on a review. So shoot me an email if you need some help. I am here for you. Promise.